Have you ever found yourself swept up in the thrill of someone's attention? Each interaction leaving you feeling seen, special, and alive, only to discover over time that the more you gave, the less you received in return? Perhaps you noticed a pattern, promises made, dreams painted in vivid color, but always just out of reach. Yet you kept investing, convinced that one day those promises would be fulfilled. This phenomenon isn't about money, it's about something much deeper. Welcome to the world of emotional pyramid schemes, a manipulative dynamic where someone leverages emotional promises, not to build genuine intimacy, but to gain control, loyalty, or undivided attention from those around them. Imagine for a moment the classic financial pyramid scheme. At first, the allure is irresistible. Early entrants are promised incredible returns, but only if they bring others into the fold. The system thrives on hope and trust, but beneath the surface, it's all an illusion. The more you invest, the more you risk losing, and the deeper you go, the harder it is to get out. Emotional pyramid schemes operate on similar principles, except the currency isn't money. It's your time, energy, and heartfelt devotion. Let's bring this into focus with a real-life example. Picture a relationship where one partner is a master of promises. They might say, "One day we'll travel the world together," or whisper, "You're the only one who truly understands me." Perhaps they urge, "Just trust me and don't ask too many questions." At first, it feels magical. These promises tap into your deepest desires for love, adventure, and belonging. But over time, the pattern emerges. The grand adventures never materialize. The heartfelt words become a script, repeated but never realized. Each promise, instead of bringing you closer, becomes a leash, subtle but strong, binding you with hope. You find yourself waiting, sacrificing, and justifying their increasing distance. Every time you question or seek clarity, you're met with guilt or deflection. If you really loved me, you'd wait, you'd trust. And so you invest more, convinced that the return is just around the corner. At the core of this dynamic is a profound imbalance of power. The manipulator's greatest tool is their understanding of your emotional needs, your craving for certainty, connection, and emotional safety. They offer these, but always on credit. Whenever you get close to collecting, to having your needs truly met, they move the goalpost. The message is clear. If you just try harder, give more, or prove yourself, everything you dream of will finally be yours. This loop is self-perpetuating. First, there's hope, the intoxicating rush of anticipation that keeps you hooked. Then comes disappointment, as reality fails to match the promises. Next is blame, either directed at yourself for not being enough, or at the manipulator, who quickly deflects and reverses the guilt. And then, the cycle repeats. The longer it continues, the more invested you become, and the harder it is to walk away. How can you tell if you're caught in an emotional pyramid scheme? There are warning signs if you know where to look. You may feel emotionally indebted, even as your own needs go unmet. The relationship seems to exist more in the realm of imagined futures than lived reality. You're always almost there, but the finish line is forever moving. Asking questions or setting boundaries is met with resistance, guilt-tripping, or even anger. You might feel as though if you stop giving, if you stop believing, the entire relationship will collapse, and it will all have been for nothing. At the heart of it all is the manipulator's ability to make you doubt yourself. They may convince you that your expectations are unreasonable, that your desire for reciprocity means you're selfish, or that your need for clarity is evidence of mistrust. In this way, they maintain control, while you become increasingly dependent on the hope they sell. So how do you break free from such a damaging cycle? The first step is a reality check. Ask yourself, what's actually happening? What actions? What behaviors versus what's merely been promised? Promises, no matter how beautifully delivered, mean little without consistent follow-through. Examine the patterns in your relationship. Has the future always been just out of reach? Are you the only one making sacrifices, while the other person's words rarely become reality? Setting emotional boundaries is crucial. This means refusing to accept promises as a substitute for genuine care and action. It means valuing yourself enough to demand reciprocity, not out of entitlement, but out of self-respect. It also means seeking grounding outside of the manipulative dynamic. Talk to trusted friends, mentors, or mental health professionals who can offer perspective and support. Remember, emotional loyalty should never come at the cost of your well-being. True connection isn't a transaction. It isn't about keeping score or endlessly waiting for a payoff that never comes. It's about mutual care, respect, and the courage to be honest even when it's uncomfortable. Emotional pyramid schemes are seductive because they sell hope. They use the language of love, support, and shared dreams to bind you. But behind the curtain, it's only about maintaining control. To escape the scheme, you must stop paying into the illusion. Let go of the promises that never materialize and turn your attention to what's real, what's present, and what's healthy. You deserve relationships built on honesty, trust, and reciprocity. You deserve to be valued not for how much you can give, but for who you are. Breaking free isn't easy, especially when you've invested so much, but it's the only way to reclaim your emotional freedom. In the end, the greatest act of self-love is recognizing when you're being manipulated and having the courage to walk away. Don't let someone else's empty promises become the foundation of your happiness. Build your life on reality, not illusion, and watch as genuine connection begins to grow.